Welcome to another episode of The Achievers. We're going to start a little bit different. When I met Amy Connelly, my guest today, she shared with me a really shocking statistic, and I just want to jump straight in there. A jumbo jet of people die every hour from lack of clean water. That is utterly stunning statistic. As a Colorado resident and seeing the wildfires here, as a Brit by birth and seeing the drought scenario there, I mean, climate change is really starting to show itself to lots of people who didn't really think it existed before. Amy, welcome to the show. What's happening with clean water?
Well, thanks for having me, Dax. Yeah, I mean, the water crisis is real. Not only, based on lack of general water in a lot of areas are very dry, but the lack of clean drinking water is really, really serious. And like you said, it's the number one killer of children under the age of 10. Just that lack of clean drinking water, and like we said, that there's so many children dying every single day just because they don't have the access to clean drinking water. They're going down to a stream and pulling it out, and it, their systems can't handle it. And so it just has become a huge passion of mine. And that's basically the purpose behind what I'm doing today.
I love it, and I want to find out a little bit more about some of the sort of filters and things that I know you've been working on as part of your business and your cause. Amy has this great business called Shaka Love, and is really empowered into this whole world of Turkish towels, which Turkish towels were not something I was particularly au fait with. My wife, my kids, they were all about the Turkish towel when I mentioned this. So I'm now an expert in Turkish towels, having had the 5 of them drill this world into me. Briefly, just so people know, what's a Turkish towel and why is it different?
Right. So Turkish towel, number one, is made in Turkey. And it's the weave that they're able to put into it that makes it this specific type of towel. And it's very lightweight. If you go to the beach, the sand just kind of floats right off it. Because of how lightweight it is, it dries really fast, yet it's super absorbent. So when you're going to the beach, you don't take the whole beach home with you. But also, it also saves on as far as overall environmental impact in production, as well as environmental impact when you're washing it. It takes less to wash, less to dry. So it's overall a very eco-friendly product, and also just really versatile, much smaller than your average beach towel. And with the way that we produce them, we use 100% recycled cotton. So with each towel, we're able to save 3,000 gallons of water in our production versus a regular cotton beach towel.
A cotton beach towel can use more than 3,000 gallons of water. That's because of the cotton production to make the towel?
Correct.
Wow.
Yeah. The cotton production itself is a huge, it consumes so much water to produce cotton in general, but like a cotton beach towel has so much cotton, right? And so the way that we produce, like I said, we're able to save 3,000 gallons per towel. So it's a huge savings that way.
That's stunning. I don't think people know these statistics. Like, I didn't know this about cotton. I mean, I know about the problem of throwaway clothing, and I know there's a big demise in dry cleaning, right? Because we're getting more clothing that doesn't need it, but that is more throwaway clothing. So we're using more of this stuff. I don't think people know these statistics like that cotton takes so much water.
It really does. And that's, the whole, as you mentioned, the term fast fashion that so many people are talking about, that it's kind of like those things are coming in and out, and you have these cotton things and people are just throwing them away. And again, the effect that has on the environment as far as water consumption is huge.
Wow. I appreciate you helping me there with the term fast fashion. My brain was very much searching for it and it did not get there. So I appreciate
what you bet.
How did you get into this world?
Well, so to take it back a notch, I guess, I grew up as a beach girl on the, beaches of San Diego, loved the ocean, loved to surf, love everything about the beach. And then our family moved to Hawaii for several years. And during our time in Hawaii, I developed the brand Shaka Love. And so just started designing eco-friendly products filled with Aloha. And throughout that time, just like I started producing the Turkish towels, and that's become our main product. And I've just loved them, loved the fact of what we're doing to save the environment, but also the fact of how many people just love our towels. And so just recently I started designing and developing my own very specific towels for our brand, which has been very exciting.
I want to come back to the beaches of San Diego in a moment. Do you have a towel handy by any chance?
Sure. Yeah. Let me show you. This is one of our new designs. And this particular design is called Paradise Found. And you can kind of see there's the full design on the back is basically kind of the same. It's just the opposite colors. So very fun, very beachy. Every one of our towels has water in it in some way. So again, to reflect our importance of the water crisis and our support of helping with clean water. So they're very soft, absorbent, everything you see here, but fold up super small. So you have like a real small towel when you go anywhere.
I love it. And for our podcast listeners, shakalove.eco is where you can go see the towels and Amy's other products. I wanted to come back to the beaches of Coronado. So I got married in Coronado. So I love Coronado, the little island off San Diego. And I was sitting, maybe you can tell me if this is true. I was sitting watching the new Top Gun movie, as a boy of the 70s. Of course, Top Gun was my life in my teenage years.
Absolutely.
I was watching the new movie and it looked suspiciously to me like the beach scene that replaced the volleyball scene from the first one looked like Coronado. Is that right?
This is true. Very familiar with those beaches of Coronado, the Maverick and the Top Gun scene, all right there. I grew up just right around the corner from there. So love those beaches. And that's those beach cities, the towels are perfect for anywhere down there.
Yeah. For those of you who haven't been, Coronado, it must be some of the best beaches in California and in the country. It's absolutely
beautiful.
Remarkable. And
huge white sand beaches, stretches. Yeah.
I love it. And with a military base at either end, every now and again, you get a jet that flies about 12 feet over your head really slowly, which is a pretty unique experience. Mm-hmm. So I want to go back to the sort of 3,000 gallon piece. So you then, I'm fascinating. 3,000 gallons, like put it in perspective. For me as a human, sustaining my life, as opposed to like all the ways we waste water, how long does 3,000 gallons keep us alive? I don't think I know.
Right. So this was where my brain went with my statistics, thinking about those 3,000 gallons. I really started researching, well, how long does that sustain the single person? And those 3,000 gallons can sustain a person for 10 years. 10 years God. Out of that 3,000 gallons. So that really got me, like, hit my heart, and I was just, I've been in, just a lot of like meditative prayer over this and really like just, contemplation on how I could make this towel really become an impact, not only on the saving water piece, but also like, what could I do? And it really came to me in my prayer time of like, okay, I want to give back. I want to give back that 10,000 gallons of water in some way. And so, through that time and that, meditative prayer, I really like decided that I wanted to find a partner where we could give back that 3,000 gallons of water and be able to save a life. And so, so I started researching that and actually found a great partnership that now we're working with.
That's great. And so what are they doing? Is this the sort of idea of creating filters so that people have access to more clean water? Correct.
Yeah. So I found a great nonprofit. They're called One Atta Time. So ATTA is kind of their short, One Atta Time. We're now partnering up with them, and they have connections all over the world in third world countries everywhere in need. And they started very small, one at a time, and then have built up to where they are just saving lives all over the world. And we're specifically working with them right now to bring these water filtration systems that they have there, and they bring these water filtration systems to these small villages. And not only do they give them the system, you think like, oh, they're just handing out a system. No, that's not really what they actually do. They actually educate the people on how to use them, and then they have follow-up a month later to make sure that they're working correctly. And then they follow up 6 months later, and they actually have tracking on them to make sure that they're really working correctly.
Right.
And again, this is all through this nonprofit, and they just have the biggest hearts. And so when we met with them, it just became very clear that this is what we wanted to do. And now through supporting them, we have physically are able to give the 3,000 gallons of water to one person, giving them 10 years of clean drinking water for every towel we sell.
Wow. That's astonishing. What a great, fun, life-changing thing to get to work on. You mentioned something very interesting as part of your journey of how you got there, this idea of sort of mindful prayer. I think I'm having more and more conversations with founders like you where they are really starting to embrace any sort of mindful practice, whatever it is that's working for them, that really helps them in their business and probably gives them primarily that space to think, structured thinking time to think through solving problems. Is it a daily habit for you? Is it something that you're incorporating into your business on a regular basis?
For me, it is a daily piece. And it's every morning when I wake up, I really take a few minutes in that mindful prayer time and just ask for guidance, for grace, for wisdom. And, that's really important to me. Even though I have, 2 teenage boys and a 10-year-old boy, I mean, life is crazy, but as long as I take that little bit in the morning to really focus and be mindful, it just helps me tremendously in all areas of my life. But with the business particularly, it really has been very, very impactful.
I love that. And as a female founder, have you found certain resources or people that you sort of take guidance from or take sort of, follow some of the lessons of what they're doing?
Oh, absolutely. I've been, especially since I started basically like right in COVID, which was a difficult time, but a lot of female entrepreneurs coming together to support each other, particularly through that time. So I'm involved in a variety of different women's groups, women entrepreneur groups, leadership groups, top, executives in various areas. I also really, I follow a lot of what Sarah Blakely has done. And she's the founder of Spanx, and she just blows my mind. I love what she has to say. She's super funny. She's super creative. And she started her business with $5,000 in her pocket and it's, taken it in an amazing direction. So definitely, I love to hear women who've been successful. I love to work with other women businesses. And that's really been helpful for my business.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have a thought in your mind as to what this looks like over the coming years? Do you have a particular vision as to the end point?
I think I just want to continue to grow it. I want to continue to spread. To me, probably the biggest piece of it is the difference that we're going to make. I feel so powerful about the fact that every towel we sell is basically going to save a life. It's going to give life-changing water. And so my hope is that I get people educationally behind it, passionately behind it, feeling like, okay, I want to be a part of this purpose, not just through my towels, but through, water conservation, through, donations to helping water crisis situations. I just think that water is the essence of life. And so without it, we can't survive. And I want to continue to educate people. I want to get people on board with it. And I see us just continuing to grow. I'd love to see, possibly working with either some professional surfers or other, people to create towels. I'd love to come up with ideas for new and different towels, or different types of production that we can do, again, with the sustainability and the purpose behind it.
Yeah, I hope that for those listeners, viewers who remember the movie The Big Short, Michael Burry, I think is his name, the chap who that movie
Yes,
was about,
yes, Michael Berry.
who made that big bet against the housing market. It is now reported that he is really spending his life focused on investing into future access to water. And I would hope that would start to bring more and more investment and funding into solving this problem. You were sharing with me a little bit about, and I really hope I get her name right, Autumn Peltier.
Yes, yes, yeah. She's a young, amazing water activist, 13 years old, out of Alaska, who is just making huge impact and huge waves out there. And I just think that she's someone I would dream to work with, to support one another. She's just an amazing young woman getting out there and really educating people about the water crisis. And in her community, there's a lack of clean drinking water, period, in Alaska, in the United States. And so it's not just in these third world countries; it's places right here in our backyard as well.
I think the problem of Western countries whitewashing their reality with something that's glossy and sexy and shiny and everything's perfect is I think starting to come to an end, right? Because all your sons, my daughters, these activists of that generation, they know the reality, and they're not going to stand up for the BS of being told everything's perfect anymore, whether it be education, whether it be environment, whether it be water, whatever it is. I would like to think our generations older than us, will wise up as well, but I don't know. Certainly the generations below aren't gonna behave in the same way anymore. That's
right.
That's yeah. This has been a fascinating conversation. Amy, what you've achieved with Shaka Love, what you've achieved with the work to literally save lives through what you're doing with these Turkish towels that look great. My wife will be making me order one after this. That's totally fine. I like the look of them. Shakalove.eco is where people can come find you. Any final thoughts?
No, just thanks so much for having me on. I'm excited about this process going forward. And yeah, just continue to, if I can give any words of wisdom to people, just, remember that water is precious, water is life. And join us with Shaka Love and our new Aloha towels to give water and save water, because water is life.